I'm here today with a first impressions of some new foundation and concealers that have come out recently. This is the Stila Aqua Glow Serum Foundation and the Serum Concealer. The Serum Foundation retails for $45. So I believe there are 9 or 10 shades of this foundation. I got mine in the shade Fair Light, which I believe is the second lightest shade. It's obviously what I have on today. And first of all, you'll see in the first impressions, I feel like it's a little bit yellow, but it does match pretty well with my skin. Retails for $45, 1 fluid ounce. In the demo, I kind of tell you a little bit about this foundation, what the box claims to say, and it's supposed to be a 12-hour continuous wear, keeping your skin hydrated and reduce the appearance of imperfections, pores, fine lines, and wrinkles. So then we have the concealer. This retails for $27. You get 0.23 fluid ounces. It comes in a decent variety of shades. There looks like there's like 7 or 8 shades of this. I have Fair, which is the lightest shade, and I feel like I'm pretty fair, but I'm definitely not like porcelain fair. And this is the lightest shade, and it almost feels like it's too dark. Like it was the same color as my skin. There was really no brightening to it. So if you are a super fair-skinned girl, more fair than me, I would pass on this concealer because it's just going to be either the same color as your skin or darker. And you'll see my first impressions of how I feel about this concealer. Anyways, again, this one retails for $27. It's supposed to be buildable full coverage, a semi-matte finish. It's supposed to have the electrolyte balance system, which has essential minerals, hyaluronic acid, ionized water. It's supposed to conceal blemishes, dark circles, skin's imperfection, melt into your skin, not settle into fine lines, be invisible, undetectable, and have weightless coverage. So that's what I have on today. I've had it on for about 45 minutes so far. And yeah, if you guys want to see how this wears throughout the day, if you want to see my first impressions of applying it, then just stay tuned. So I'm going to start off with the Makeup Forever Smoothing Primer. This is a primer I use every day, so I know it's very consistent. It always works for me. It helps to just make my makeup last a little bit longer, and it doesn't like mattify or add any luminosity or anything. It just helps kind of create that barrier between my skin and my foundation, and otherwise foundation just like disappears on my face. So I always have to wear a primer, and you can get inexpensive primers. The Nivea Shave Balm in the men's section is an amazing drugstore one. It's like $7 and you get a ton of products. So if you don't want to spend a lot of money on a high-end primer, you don't have to. They have plenty at the drugstore. So today we're going to do the Stila Aqua Glow Serum Foundation and the Serum Concealer. I got the shade Fair Light for the foundation and Fair for the concealer. It says it's medium to full, buildable coverage with a natural radiant finish. Advanced multi-reflective color pigments play with light to instantly even skin tone, reduce appearance of imperfections. And it contains an electrolyte balance system, a carefully combined complex of ionized water, advanced hyaluronic acid, and essential minerals to help hydrate and nourish the skin that glows with a healthy radiance, and it's fragrance free. So I'm going to shake it up. It is one of those, all these new serum foundations. Becca has one. There's a few others. Kevin Aqua maybe too, where you like twist it a little bit and then it like pops up this little button, and then you press it and you get the foundation to pop out. So again, I got the shade Fair Light, and it has a dropper, and it's actually quite a bit creamier than I expected. We're going to start with 1 pump and see how that works. So my skin is fairly clear right now. I don't have really any blemishes or breakouts right now. So we're just going to kind of smooth this on the side of the face. It feels like very thin, like as I'm putting it on my face, like blending it onto my face, it feels like very light, almost watery consistency. So we're gonna blend. The color match is really good. It's a little bit of a yellow undertone, the Fair Light is, but I think it will be okay. Blended very effortlessly into the skin, and it does have some good coverage. You can see my redness has already been kind of covered up for as light as it feels. So I think there's 1 shade lighter, which is Fair, so I believe this is the second to lightest shade. Yeah, the coverage is really, really good. For a serum-y foundation, like a glowing serum-y foundation, it's got a lot better coverage than I expected it to. So just doing half of my face, it definitely has covered up a lot of the redness. There's a little bit of like a dewy glow to the skin still, so it's not quite matte. It's a pretty natural finish. I don't really know how much product I get, because if you just pop it in here and you try to pump it, you don't necessarily get anything. So I don't know. I don't love the like pushing of the button. I just don't like that kind of application. I think it's a little bit of a pain. So as far as packaging, I'm not into this like pump push thing. I'd rather just have like either a squeezy thing like the Perricone MD, or a squeezy tube, or a regular pump. I just don't like this thing, because it's like you almost have to close it, pump it, and then open it back up. Okay, so actually I really like this match. I'm glad I chose this color. So let's go to this side. And we're gonna use, this is an IT Cosmetics brush. It's just like a duo fiber lighter brush. This is probably gonna give us a really sheer coverage, honestly. So I might switch to a different one. I'm gonna smooth this out a little bit. So this light wispy brush, if you use a duo fiber brush like this, you're gonna get a very sheer coverage. But I actually like how that looks. It looks really pretty. For a lighter sheer coverage, use a wispy brush. I don't think I have any of my Sigma brushes, so we're just gonna use the Beauty Blender on this side. I'm sure if you use like a Sigma flat top kabuki brush or a dense kabuki brush, you're gonna get a really nice full coverage finish. The Beauty Blender, you can definitely build it up to full coverage. Something like this, if you use something like this, you're gonna get a lighter coverage. The color match I think is really good too. It's definitely more of a glowy finish, which I think it's called Aqua Glow. So the coverage, way better than I expected. Love the application. It feels a little tacky on the skin still, but we're just gonna kind of let it sit. So we're gonna go on to the concealer, and this is their Aqua Glow Serum Concealer. It says, buildable to full coverage, weightless finish, instantly conceals dark circles, blemishes, and other imperfections, easy to blend, luxurious serum texture. And it's a semi-matte finish. And again, mine is in the shade Fair. And this one has like this little bowl tip. There's actually a foundation from Pure Cosmetics that is just like that. Okay, so you don't get this full thing. Like I just got this, and look at, I can bend it in half before any product even comes out. So there's that. Okay, I'm just gonna start with like a little bead, and you don't get very much product. You get 0.23 fluid ounces. So it's very creamy. It's very creamy, but it's actually like once it gets to like your fingertips, it seems to get really liquidy. So it goes from like a cream to liquid, and this is very yellow. Wow. This is in the shade Fair. And it's actually kind of dark and very, 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 very yellow. Like extremely yellow. Okay, we're gonna just go for it. I don't like the color of this. I don't like the tone. It's very yellow. And I believe that this is the lightest shade, and I feel like it's super dark and very yellow. So it feels very lightweight, like it feels, the texture is very thin. It blends pretty easily, but I don't know if I like it. I don't feel like it's super full coverage. I feel like if I piled any more on there, it's gonna get cakey. I'm not blown away. Let's just put it that way. Like I'm not massively impressed. I think that the Urban Decay Naked or the NYX HD Concealer or my MAC Pro Longwear does a little bit better job of like brightening or concealing. And I like the texture of those a little bit more. I don't know how I feel about this. So we're gonna set that. I'm just gonna use my Master Fix by Face Studio powder. And we're gonna set the under eyes. And this is a Royal & Lang Nickel Blush Brush, but I love that for setting. And this powder is amazing. There's like, I can't find one concealer that I don't like how this sits with. So I've used about 4 or 5 different concealers with this powder. And so it's kind of like, if it doesn't look good under my eyes, it's the concealer's fault, not this powder, because this powder is so great. So it looks fine. The under eyes look fine. I don't love it. So far, the foundation, first impression, off the bat, I like it. I like the way it applies. I like the way it looks on the skin. The concealer, I don't like it so far. I don't like the color, and I'm not sure I love it. I don't like the color. I don't like the coverage. It just is like meh to me right now. So it is 10 o'clock right now. I'm gonna finish up with the rest of my face and then I'll check in. And I've had this foundation on for like an hour and 15 minutes. It's 10:15. Oh, look at my sweet. Anyways, it's almost 10:15. And okay, let's be real. My nose looks and feels super dry. Like I feel like the top of my nose, like all my dryness on my nose, like the bridge of my nose is always super dry. It always is. So texture wise, it just feels super dry. The sides of my nose look really, really dry. The rest of my face, minus like my insane highlight that's going on, feels greasy. Like my skin, I can feel the foundation on my skin. Like when I just touch it, it feels super oily and it moves around. And it's settling into all of these like little fine lines. Like I know when I smile, like I have this big crease here, but I feel like it's finding like the most micro fine little lines to settle into, and it's settling into like my pores. I feel like it's accentuating like any uneven texture around my mouth. Yeah, when I like raise my brows up, like I feel like all these little fine line wrinkles, it's like settling into, and it just looks, I feel like it looks super greasy, and I haven't had it on very long. And even using that primer, like if anything, the primer that I use would mattify you before it would make you oily. I feel like it's accentuating the dryness and it's settling into fine lines. Yeah, I don't like it. So I'm gonna keep wearing it throughout the day, but an hour and a half in, like I really wanna wipe it off. I do, I really wanna wipe it off. There's very few times that there's a foundation that I'm just like, oh, don't like it. And this is one of them. The other one was that Revlon one. But I don't know, I just feel like for $40-something, it doesn't blow me away. I would much rather, if I want a luminous finish, like I went back to the L'Oreal True Match Lumi foundation, and I love it. It gives you a beautiful glowy look. It doesn't accentuate pores. That's just, I can feel it on my skin. Like not even touching it, it feels gross. So I keep trying to smooth out the makeup that's moving. So I'm gonna check in a little bit, a couple hours, and see how it looks in a little bit. So I am here with a check-in, and it is about 1:15. I don't like this foundation. I'm so bummed. I'm gonna zoom out. Well, let's see, let's zoom in. So as you can see there, it literally sinks into my pores and accentuates. Like look at how greasy it is. That's real close. But like my nose, look how dry it looks. And I exfoliated this morning. So one, it looks super dry on my nose. Two, it looks super greasy and oily. So like I literally, like let's go to my forehead. Like look at this. I just feel so gross and greasy. And I'm like pulling foundation off of my face. Like even like right around here, it's like accentuating like any uneven texture. My nose just looks really bad. Like look at that. Wow, this camera does a really good job. Look at that. Like I exfoliated my skin really well this morning, and it just looks very, very dry and oily at the same time. It's like the weirdest thing. I don't feel like it stayed hydrated, and I don't know how this is supposed to last for 12 hours. I've had it on since 10, so not even 4 hours. And like from far, far away, I think it looks good, but anybody who's like up close talking to me, like I would be a little bit embarrassed at how my makeup looks. I mean, don't even mind my eye makeup, but yeah, like I just don't feel like it looks very nice on the skin. It hasn't lasted very long. I feel very greasy. It doesn't look as greasy as it feels, but I literally feel like this just looks so gross, and it's so dry. Like my right here is so incredibly dry, and I just, yeah, look at that. It's like getting under my nails. It's disgusting. So I'm just not, I don't like this foundation. I will definitely be returning it. I don't like the concealer. I don't like the foundation. I was super excited to see like a serum-y foundation. I've never really tried Stila's foundations before. This is the first one I've ever tried, and I don't like it. This one I don't like. If you have very, very, very dry skin, I don't even think you'll like it, because honestly, it accentuated every dry patch on my nose. It feels really heavy and it feels really greasy. So I might do one more check-in in a little bit, but yeah, this one's definitely going back. I might even have my face softener on, so when it zooms out, I think it looks a little smoother. But you guys saw on the zoom in, it's not pretty. So I'll check in probably one more time, and then I am washing my face. So I'm here with the check-in. It is now 3 o'clock. I've had this on for 5 hours, and I hate it. I'm gonna go wash it off now. I tried to keep it on a little longer so y'all can see it, but it's very greasy. It feels very oily on the skin. It's felt very heavy and oily for a while. Earlier you guys saw how dry it was. Like, it made my contour shade like oxidize like crazy. Like, it's a big brown splotch. And then this side has nothing. But you can see, like, look how oily that is. So I'm oily, I'm dry. Look at that. It just makes my skin look awful. And you guys have seen enough up close of my skin to know that I have fairly good skin. It's pretty normal. I don't have a lot of acne. I don't have overly oily skin. I don't have overly dry skin. It's pretty normal. And this just does not do anything for my skin. And like my blush, everything has worn off really oddly. I don't know how this is supposed to stay on for, I think, 12 hours because I feel like it's already broken up. It's super greasy and no good. So I'm gonna go wash this off. I do not like this foundation. I am going to return it. I don't really know who it's good for unless you have neither dry nor oily skin, because it clings to the dry patches, but it also makes you super oily. It's not even like a luminous look. It's a very greasy, shiny, like you could see right there, very shiny look. I've only had it on for 5 hours. It's not hot today. I haven't done anything strenuous except for sit and edit at my house that's air conditioned. It's probably like 70 degrees in here. And so yeah, just not great. Don't like it. Definitely gonna be returning it. If you've tried this, I'd love to know your thoughts. I'd love to know your opinion of it. But the concealer I didn't like from the very beginning, and the foundation I'm really bummed, was not impressed. So there's a bunch of other foundations for a lot less expensive. If you want a glowy, luminous look, this is not one of them. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you enjoy the check-in throughout the day, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye!